What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens episode review. Today, guys, we are going to be going over episode 33 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens anime. And without further ado, guys, let's not waste any more time, and let's get right into this review. So, what were my thoughts on this episode? I did enjoy this episode. I thought this was actually it was a good episode. I really did think this was a good episode. This was definitely the best development for Gakuto that we got so far, and I'm very excited to get into it, so let's not waste any more time, and let's get into it. So, the episode starts off, we remember from the last episode that Yuga and his friends had to be transferred to Goa 6 Elementary since Yuga lost the duel against Asana, and they start off their days. They actually have to basically run to school, and they have to go on the road and basically have to like build a road, I guess, or like they have to fix up a road. I think is what they were describing, because Galliant kind of explained in this episode is that was something that they normally did throughout history. This was like a history thing that they normally do. And that's basically what these kids do. They basically do labor just getting to school, and then probably do labor during school. And they realize that it's very, very tiring work, and it's really not that fun at all to basically go to school there, because it's not fun at all. And they get tired after this whole thing. And we do see a scene where Yuga does go into the library, and he kind of does a little bit of research on them, because they kind of had a question throughout this, because they were kind of wondering how in the world did Asana get maximum cards, which I'm glad that they're touching on it right away. I didn't want to wait until the very end of it. I wanted this episode, if they are not going to just straight up say it, I at least wanted some development to get it, which I'm not surprised that this was going to happen, but I was worried. I was just slightly worried, because anything you'd be worried about, but that was something they addressed. Rook makes this statement where he thinks that they literally just dig maximum cards out of the ground, and Yuga and Roman making a statement saying like, yeah, that's probably not how it actually works, because they could have literally just done that themselves, but no, they had to sacrifice their accounts, because it has to be a big deal to get these maximum cards. I mean, Yuga had to sacrifice 3 of his friends' ID accounts just to make maximum cards. So it takes a lot to actually get these maximum cards, and just her having them out of nowhere when they thought they didn't exist really was confusing. But before that, Gakuto starts making demands, and Galliant reminds them that since he no longer is going to go out of 7th Elementary, he's no longer the school president. And then he just starts freaking out. And I remember reading the summary, which I guess I'll mention it right now. I was going to mention it at the end of the video. I do apologize for not mentioning that in the last episode review for the episode 33 summary preview analysis. I wasn't planning on actually doing it. A lot of stuff actually ended up happening. I actually had a family member's birthday that actually ended up coming up this week. So obviously I was more focused on that than videos. Plus, I've been trying to catch up with the Vrains reviews. If you guys haven't been paying attention to that series, I've fallen pretty behind on that. And that was just because, for some reason, getting images has been hard for some reason. Because I don't know if it's because, I don't know what's wrong with my computer. I don't get what's going on, but every time like I get the images, I get it to my editing software and I put it in, it just ends up like acting like it was a small image to begin with, and like I go and open up, like try to enlarge a new image, and it's just like all blurry. Well, it's not all blurry, it's kind of like almost in like 144p, which if anyone has turned anything to 144p, you know that that is pretty bad. And all the images were doing that. In fact, the chapter 10 review that I did was having that same problem, and I had no idea what it was. I literally actually went to my phone and did the screenshot for that, and like took a screenshot of it, and it worked. So I don't know if it was the system that was doing that, or it probably had to be somehow when I was downloading the images, it just was doing it as small. I don't know what happened, but hopefully it's not that bad for this one. Hopefully I'm able to figure out something with this. But we see Gakuto just start losing his mind, and he's apparently, I can't remember what I think it was like, it was some, like, it was like student council stress disorder or something. around those lines. You know what? I'm actually going to pull up the summary real quick, and I'm going to actually say the actual name of it because this is just hilarious. It's called Student Council Deficiency Disease. Yeah. So basically, he starts acting like Django in this episode, where he starts losing his absolute mind to the point where Ron has to slap him with a card. In fact, funny enough, it was his Yami ruler card he ends up slapping, and we do find out that Django also has this kind of disease where if you're not a student council president and you're not doing your job, you end up going insane. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care for it. I was not a big fan of it. Just like the Django one. Like I don't like this show is just weird. I understand that this show is weird, but uh, I don't know how to feel about these just like weird phenomenons that go on with these characters. I feel like the only normal character out of the main group is Yuga now, because now you have Gakuto with this disease, you have Roman going to basically berserk mode, and then you have Rook's devil power. And what does Yuga have? He's just an intelligent kid. Like I don't understand what this show is. It's a weird. It's too weird. I think this is like getting down to the levels of GX season 1 weird, because GX had some pretty questionable things. I think it has one of the most questionable things in any Yu-Gi-Oh show, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, what I don't remember what the actual episode name, but let's just say it was the Blair episode that I think is the weirdest one. If you guys know what scene I'm talking about, let me know down in the comment section below, because not only is it the most hilarious scene I think I've ever seen in a Yu-Gi-Oh show, but it's the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen in a show. Like, I don't want to say what it is for people that, well, no, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are watching this channel has watched GX, but I want to see if you guys can figure out what I'm referencing. I really want to see if people can get what I'm talking about, but we'll just wait and see what happens. But they were able to calm him down after slapping him with a Yame ruler card, and basically they had to get back to work, and Gakuto decides that, you know what, we're going to stand up to Goha 6 Elementary, and we're going to get back our freedom. Because remember, the Goha 6 staff states that when you're challenged to a duel, you have to accept it, no matter what the circumstance is. So he goes and challenges Galliant to a duel, and they do remind it in this episode, and he has to accept, obviously, and then we get our Gakuto versus Galliant duel, basically for their freedom. Because remember, he was the reason that Rons and Rinosuke had to get involved with this. And even though he says, like, yeah, I want to be the student council president, but I want to take out the guy who put you two in this whole mess in the first place, because he was the one that sent you here. I'm surprised he didn't even mention the fake postcard that he ended up sending, which I really wish they did, but hey, you know what? It's just a little minor thing, but it's not that really big of a deal. But Gakuto gets into a suit, which, does he just wear this under everything? Like, I feel like any clothing he wears, he just wears this under. Well, I guess he's a master, so I guess he has to wear his master's clothes. So, we get into the duel. What are my thoughts on the duel? I did enjoy this duel, to be honest. I really did. We got two new ace monsters, one from Galliant and one from Gakuto in this duel. So let's get into the duel. The duels, I believe this was I want to say it's a 4-turn duel. Yeah, no. I think this was a 4-turn duel. I could be wrong on the numbers, but I'm pretty sure it is a decent length duel. I believe Galliant goes first, because I remember Gakuto was able to deal with the field afterwards. So Galliant is able to get his Mandrill onto the field, which is still weird to say that name, but he was able to get that out pretty quickly, actually. He was actually decently able to get that card onto the field. And obviously, since this was the first turn of the duel, he can't really do anything. So he goes and sets it. Oh, hold on a minute. Before I talk about the duel, because I realized I just skipped a whole part of my notes. I forgot to talk about the whole Mimi scene. We just see Mimi in her office, and she gets a call from Asana, and President Goha actually ends up speaking to her, and it's like, isn't your goal to utterly utterly crush and destroy rush duels. And Mimi gets whole suspicious of this because of the fact that she starts to wonder why why he wants to destroy rush duels, because obviously she doesn't have a problem with this. And also, you gotta feel bad for her because of the fact that she has to basically sit in the office just laughing the entire time. So it kind of gets a little bit boring after a while. And she even states that in this episode that it gets pretty boring. So yeah. And also, we missed the Kaizo scene. Why did I write this so high in my notes? I feel so bad. Oh, I know why. It was because when I was watching this episode, I remember I had to watch it a second time because I didn't miss some stuff, and I forgot to write this stuff down for some reason. Hey, good channel, good YouTuber at work, right? But Kaizo is able to sneak into the building as normal, and then I believe that's when we actually get the whole thing of challenging him to a rush duel. So now we can actually start talking about the duel, because gosh dang it, I had to have just missed that. So let's actually get back into the duel. So we get into the duel. I already explained Galleon's turn. He's able to get his mandrill, like I said before, and we go into Gakuto's turn. He doesn't really do that much. He just is able to get out. No, I shouldn't say he didn't do much. He got Yame Ruler out into the field, which was able to go and deal with his mandrill, and was able to destroy it using its effects and using a combination with the good old classic sword and shield, shield and sword. Man, I'm confused with the trap card. If you guys don't remember, a trap card was actually released not that long ago for, I believe it was Rush Duels. It was for Rush Duels, I believe. Which I'm surprised he didn't play in this duel. I think this would have been a perfect opportunity to show that card. But, hey, you know what? We can't see every card, right? There's some cards that are just never going to be seen in the anime, which is completely fine. That doesn't need to be the case. But he is able to destroy Mandrill and able to get a direct attack off on Galleon, and is able to deal a massive amount of damage to him. He gets to deal 2,500 points of damage, gets him down to 1,500 attack points, and out of nowhere, his machines just starts breaking down. And I remember watching this duel, and I actually came off my seat because I didn't know what was going to happen. I really thought this duel was going to end in a no result, which I knew it shouldn't have made any sense, but like, is he going to get seriously hurt if he continues this duel? Because they cannot, one of their rules as well is that they cannot surrender a duel. They have to finish the duel out to the end. Like, that's their thing. And also, Chevalier, and I know they call him Schruber, I think is how you say his name, is what people have been saying it. I'm calling him Chevalier, A, because I like the joke of his name, and B, that's what YGO organization called his first name, so I want to call him that. It's more comfortable to me, so if you say Schruber, that's completely fine, but I'm going to be calling him Chevalier. So if I call him in the comments as Chevalier, that's because that's just the way I am used to calling it. But the thing starts breaking down. He tells him, like, we don't want our machinery to break down, but he's like, it kind of counteracts with it because he can't surrender the duel. So he just has to basically live with it at this point. But they continue the duel with this broken machine, which it's cool. I will say, though, it's kind of cool, and I didn't mention this or at least I don't remember talking about it. It's kind of cool how they do these, like, machine duels. Like, it's very interesting the way that they do stuff, because they don't use normal duel discs. They just use these excavators just to do it, which is a pretty interesting way to do it. Like, I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh really does that stuff since, like, Duel Monsters, when you had the big old machines that you would actually place your cards on, like from Duelist Kingdom. It's the last thing I ever really remember. Well, I guess 5Ds did it as well, because remember that one episode that Crow had where he dueled that old man to use the Junk Warrior deck, and he had his own stadium like that. So it's been a minute since we have actually seen something that isn't used on, like, a dual disc. Like, sure, yeah, he still uses a dual disc, but he also uses a big old hunk of machinery just to duel. So I think it's pretty cool, nevertheless. But he ends up continuing the duel. He's able to get another one of his monsters out in the field, and is able to flip his Yame Roller to face down the defense position, and is able to get out his new ace monster of his deck, which, well, no, first he activates a spell card. I think it's like Heavy Massacre Train Tactics or something like that. I think I remember that right. I for some reason didn't write the spell card down because I apparently didn't think it was really that important. They kind of get, well, Ronzo Rizuki kind of gets a little bit worried about this, but instead of going into his mandrill, he's able to get out a new monster onto the field. I believe it was like Snow or Shield Bowling Kong. It was something like that. Really cool monster. I think it's a little bit better than Mandrill. It looks cool, I would say, at least, and it's able to use an effect where I believe it was able to target a monster in face down defense position and was able to destroy it. So he uses his monster's effect, is able to get rid of Kami Ruler, goes and attacks that other monster on the field. It was like the monster that was in the cloud. No, wait, no, never mind. He uses an effect where his attack points go up, and then he attacks. Because I remember when the attack points happen, Gakuto starts freaking out, and he's like, I'm never going to become the student council president again, and he even gets down on his hands and knees. But not surprised at all, he had a face down card. He was able to activate a trap, and was able to survive. And then he's able to go into his turn, his Galleon's machine starts to break down a little bit more. Gakuto is able to get into his turn. He gets a couple of monsters on the field, and he's able to summon his new Fiendish commander, Semi-Ruler. I believe that's how you say that. Really cool monster. Is it better than the other two? I don't think so. Honestly, I like Kemi Ruler and Yami Ruler a little bit more, but I've been really enjoying Gakuto's monsters. I think they look really, really cool. I really do love the design of these monsters, and I can't wait to see what the next ruler is going to be. But he's able to use Yami Ruler's effect to be able to win this duel, because I believe it was able to switch the monster into defense position, because Galleon was able to activate a face down card, and also he used Darkness Approaches again in this episode, and I believe Gakuto used a monster which I think is in the real life game right now. I can't remember what the monster is, but I remember it was like the samurai card. It was the card that he summoned during this duel. So there was like some nostalgia to this duel as well, which I really do appreciate. I like these like nostalgic cards coming back into the game. I think they're a really cool addition to these duels. But he's able to activate a trap to get his monster to gain attack points, but obviously Gakuto has something up his sleeve, and he's able to use different effects. He uses semi-rulers, and I believe he's able to use another monster's effect. I could be remembering the duel wrong. It has been a couple hours since I've watched it, because I watched it like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I want to say. It was pretty early when I watched it, because I remember I saw that this episode was out. I watched it twice, and then I went back to sleep, and then I went back onto my day. So if I don't remember it perfectly, I do apologize for that. But hey, you know what? It's going to happen. It's something that's going to happen anytime that I do these reviews. But he's able to get his monster back into back into attack position. He switched his monster in defense position so that he can basically be able to withstand any attack, because it was able to gain defense points. That is my mistake. I remember it wrong, okay? Oh well. But the monster summoned by Fiendish Commander Semi-Ruler gains attack equal to defense for the rest of the turn. So basically, a bunch of his monsters able to get defense points as attack points. They go for attack, and he's able to deal enough damage to where it can destroy the monster, but use the other higher level monsters to be able to attack and beat Galleon. And Galleon ends up losing his duel. His thing ends up going into Shaft. He does have this weird flashback of taking care of Asana, which I don't know how to really interpret that, because is this kid a 6th grader? Is he a kid? Like, from his age in that flashback, he looked the same, and Asana was like a baby. I don't understand what the heck just happened that we figured out in this episode. I really do not understand what in the world just happened. So this guy has to be at least 30 years old, basically around Asana's age, because if we're going off of or it has to be at Mimi's age, excuse me, because if we're going off Asana being the same age as Yuga, which is like 11 or 12 years old, I would say maybe a little bit older than that, maybe like I would say 12 is a good range. And this guy cannot be under 20 years old. There is no way you can tell me that this guy is under 20 and he looks like that. He looks exactly the same. But he basically, he almost in a way raised Asana to some degree. So I don't know if that also implies that something. No. Well, then that wouldn't make sense because she had to be at least like 7 years old when she was in that little conversation with her grandfather. So I don't know. I don't know. Something happened. I saw a lot of theories going around that the person that died on the floor, which did I mention that in the last episode? Some guy just literally died on the floor in the last episode. I'll make sure just in case. Someone died in the last episode, guys. And a lot of people were saying like that was Asana's grandfather, which I don't believe because I feel like they were kind of against drones actually speaking because Asana got that from somewhere. She had to get like this hate for machines that are modified or talk like human beings. And if this is his grandfather, that means that whole thing that they go by doesn't care for him. Like he basically broke a role in a way. So I don't think that's him. I think it's just some basically ragdoll character that we are never going to learn the name of at all. We're not going to even know what they did with his body, might I add. So yeah, Yugioh Sevens got dark, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, but getting back onto the topic on that whole weird little rant there, I just wanted to mention that real quick. But Galliant ends up losing the duel. He accepts the condition and he leaves. Like literally, he throws off the coat that he wears, and he's wearing this like white tank top and leaves. Which I don't know what to say about that. I think he's done for the series. I think he's honestly done. I don't know why he left, but I think he's done for the series. He tells Ron's that, you have a good master there, and he ends up walking out, which I guess was a good way to make a heartwarming scene in a way. Then you have Asana coming in. She gets mad at Yuga because apparently he was using the illegal drones, which is basically Kaizo, to basically tamper with their work. And Kaizo explains, like, I was helping them, although he was only helping girls with their work. And Yuga tries to explain, like, he was trying to make the work easier for them because it's difficult. Asana gets mad at this because that's not their motto and ends up sending them to the abandoned dorm for some reason. I guess maybe to do some hard labor there and make it harder to get back to the school every day. So, yeah, they end up sending there. But we find out that Yugioh wants to be sent there, as when he was doing the research, like I mentioned earlier, he was trying to figure out a way of how she got maximum summoning, and he got a hint from Rook's like terrible explanation of how they got maximum cards of being in the ground, but he believes that to a degree. Now he doesn't believe that just maximum cards in the ground, like that would also be another question of how is there just maximum cards in the ground, like that wouldn't make any sense. But he thinks there might be a way to be able to there's going to be two things. Either there's a way to create it with some of the stuff that's in the ground, or someone in that little, like, closed off area might be giving Asana maximum cards. Now, who that might be, I have no idea. There's only 3 characters that can really be the case. It's either President Goha, which I think to some degree, but I don't think he was the one that did it. Neil is another option, but we haven't seen Neil this entire arc, so that is a good possibility, but I feel like he's just been out of it, so I don't have, maybe him, but I really don't know. And the other one is Otis. Remember, Otis kind of helped them with the maximum cards last time. Maybe he was able to learn stuff more about these maximum cards and was able to create them their own. I don't believe that, but I wouldn't be mad about that. In fact, I think it would tie into the whole opening. Remember, the opening shows Otis, Roa, Neil, Asana, and Yuga. And all of the characters, except Asana, have in common is that they know Otis. Asana has to know Otis to some degree. There's no way you can tell me that there isn't. So that's what I believe, that could be an option. Maybe Neil as well. I don't think President Goha can really do that, or else Mimi would have already known this, which she doesn't really believe that. So I don't know. We would just have to wait and see. But that's basically how the episode ends off. And that's all I have to say. That it was a little bit of a longer discussion, but I did have a little bit of trouble writing this duel down, which I don't know what the heck I wrote down because I remember the duel, but this is not what I remember waking up. I guess maybe I shouldn't be watching episodes at like 3 o'clock in the morning, but hey, you know what? I needed to get some things recorded. Well, I needed to get some stuff done in the morning, and I didn't have enough time to be able to watch this, and I wanted to get this out as soon as possible. So, unless you wanted something like Monday nights, this is the only time I was able to record it. So, I hope you guys were able to enjoy anyway. And with that, guys, that's going to be it for this episode review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you like it? Were you in the middle of it? Or did you not really care for this episode? Before I end off this video, I do want to mention something that I am very excited to announce. Sometime tomorrow, because after this, I am going to be I'm going to go and read it and record it because that's the only time again until Monday night, which I would love to just be able to edit. I mean, work has been pretty busy lately, but sometime tomorrow or this week, I will be doing another Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens manga chapter review. Literally just today, I saw that chapter 2 finally got translated, so now I can do this chapter review for you guys, and I'm so stoked to be able to do this for you guys. I'm really excited. We haven't done anything with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens manga in like 2 weeks now, or no, not 2 weeks, jeez, 2 months from now, from the last one I did, so I'm very excited to get into this. I mean, I enjoyed the first one, and if you haven't seen that, please go and check out that review before the next one. I'll even mention it in the Chapter 2 review to go and check out the first one before you watch that video, because, you know, it had been a minute since I did it, so yeah, make sure you go check it out after this video if you guys are new to the channel, because I know there's a lot of new people that have come to the channel, which, if you are new, I do appreciate you guys being a part of my channel and coming and watching my videos. It really does mean a lot to me. But if you have not seen that video, please and go check it out before the chapter 2 review comes out, because I'm very excited for that whole chapter review. But guys, that's it for my long little end scene right there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and also the Brains dub reviews will hopefully get edited sometime this week or next week. I'm trying my best to get back caught up with those, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.